Hi everyone, here with your weekly reading. I'm using the Shadowscapes Tarot this week. I love this deck, it's really beautiful. So let's see, try to get this somewhat lined up here.
There's someone tracking your movements with laser focus right now, and their identity would genuinely surprise you if you knew who was paying such close attention. Not casual observation, not passive awareness, active monitoring, deliberate tracking. They're noticing what you post, where you go, who you're with, what you're doing, how you're showing up. They're collecting data, building understanding, creating complete picture of who you are and how you operate. And they're doing all of this while maintaining complete invisibility, while staying in shadows, while giving you zero indication that you're being studied this intensely. And the reason? It's not what you'd assume. Not stalking in creepy sense, not malicious surveillance, not obsessive fixation from unhealthy place. The attention is motivated by something specific, something that makes you significant to them in ways you haven't registered, something that gives them reason to invest energy in understanding you thoroughly before making themselves known or before taking action they're contemplating. In the hidden reality of who pays attention when we think no one's watching, we're often completely wrong about who sees us and who doesn't. The person you think notices you, they might be barely aware. The person you'd never suspect, they might be intensely focused. The one you perform for, they might be indifferent. The one you ignore, they might be cataloging everything. Let me reveal what's alive in someone's consciousness regarding you. In the psychology of intense observation, people don't invest that level of attention randomly. Watching like a hawk requires sustained focus, consistent energy, genuine interest or concern or calculation. Something about you has captured their awareness so completely that tracking you has become priority, has become something they do regularly, has become part of their routine thinking. It's highly probable the person watching you falls into one of several categories. First possibility, they're romantically interested but haven't revealed themselves yet. They're building courage, learning you, trying to determine if their interest is reciprocated before risking rejection through direct approach. Every piece of information they gather helps them understand if pursuing you makes sense. Watch for someone in your periphery who shows up frequently but doesn't engage deeply, who knows things about you they shouldn't know unless they've been paying very close attention, who remembers details you mentioned casually, who seems to track your patterns, who positions themselves to be near you without making it obvious. These are signs of someone observing before approaching. Some observers are genuinely interested but deeply cautious. They've been hurt before, they don't trust easily, they need extensive observation period before they'll risk vulnerability. They're not being creepy. They're protecting themselves by learning thoroughly before engaging for them. Watching is due diligence, not stalking. Second possibility, they're professionally interested. You have skills or knowledge or network they want access to. They're evaluating you for opportunity, position, partnership, collaboration, investment. They're watching to see if you're as capable as you appear, if your character matches your presentation, if you'd be a reliable partner or valuable addition to their venture. You might be under exactly that kind of professional evaluation without knowing it. Someone who could open significant doors is watching to see how you handle yourself, how you treat people when you think no one important is watching, how consistent you are, how you respond to challenges. All of it data points in their assessment of whether to extend opportunity. Third possibility, there's someone from your past who's been thinking about reconnecting. ex-partner, old friend, former colleague, someone who knew you before and has been watching your evolution. They see who you've become. They're comparing present you to past you. They're considering whether a bridge can be rebuilt or whether too much has changed. This reflection invites you to consider who from your past might still be tracking your present. Let me clarify what very shocking person specifically reveals about their identity. Shocking suggests their identity contradicts your expectations. You wouldn't guess it's them. Their attention surprises you because they don't fit the profile of who you'd expect to be watching. They're either someone you'd never suspect of being interested, or someone you thought had moved on, or someone you don't think knows you exist, or someone from completely unexpected category. In the territory of surprising observers, this shock often comes from one of several sources. It could be someone you barely know who's developed intense interest from limited interaction. You had brief conversation, small exchange, minimal connection, but something about it stayed with them, created impression, made them want to know more. Now they're learning you from distance before attempting closer proximity. It's probable someone you'd categorize as acquaintance or stranger has actually developed significant awareness of you. They don't feature prominently in your consciousness, but you feature prominently in theirs. The attention is asymmetrical. Your background to them in your mind, their foreground to you in their mind. Or it could be someone from your past you assume has forgotten you, old classmate, former neighbor, previous colleague, person you haven't thought about in years, but they've been thinking about you, watching your life unfold through social media, noticing your growth, feeling something about your journey that keeps you present in their awareness. Watch for names from your past appearing in viewer lists or engagement metrics. People you haven't heard from in years suddenly liking old posts. Profiles you recognize but haven't interacted with showing up frequently. These digital footprints often reveal who's paying attention even when they're not commenting or reaching out directly. Or it could be someone currently in your life who you've completely misread. You think they're indifferent, you assume they barely notice you, but actually they're hyper aware. They're just excellent at hiding it. They observe without revealing. They learn without asking. They maintain neutral exterior while internally they're intensely focused. This reflection invites you to consider who in your current awareness have you potentially misread as disinterested. Let me address what here is the reason why indicates about their motivation. Reason suggests logic, purpose, specific driver behind the attention. They're not watching randomly. They have motivation, intention, goal connected to their observation. Understanding their why helps you understand what their attention means and what might come from it. In the various motivations for intense observation, some are benevolent. They're watching because they care. They're concerned about you. They want to help but don't know how to offer without seeming intrusive. They're tracking your well-being from distance, making sure you're okay, ready to step in if you need support, but respecting your space until you signal need. It's possible someone who loves you is watching with exactly that protective motivation. Family member who worries, friend who notices you're struggling, former partner who still cares about your happiness even though relationship ended, mentor who invested in you and wants to see you succeed. Their observation comes from care, not control. Others are strategic. They're watching because you have something they want: access, information, skills, connection, opportunity, their timing, their approach, waiting for right moment, building complete understanding before making their move. The attention is calculated, purposeful, designed to maximize their advantage when they finally engage. You might be under exactly that kind of strategic observation. Someone planning to recruit you, someone wanting to partner with you, someone considering offering you opportunity, someone evaluating whether you're right fit for something they're building. The watching is research, preparation, due diligence before investment. Still others are nostalgic or regretful. They're watching because they miss you, because they wonder what could have been, because they're questioning choices they made that led to your absence from their life, because seeing you thrive makes them reflect on what they lost when they let you go. The attention is tinged with what if and maybe still. This reflection invites you to consider what reason would make someone's observation of you feel flattering versus concerning. Let me speak to what you should do with this awareness. First, recognize that being observed isn't inherently negative. Depending on who's watching and why, it could be completely positive. Could be guardian angel type presence. Could be opportunity brewing. Could be someone building courage to offer you something valuable. Don't automatically assume surveillance equals threat. In the balanced response to being watched, you don't need to become paranoid. Don't need to lock down all social media. Don't need to assume worst intentions. But you also don't need to be completely naive. You can maintain healthy awareness without tipping into fear or suspicion. It's important you stay authentic in how you show up publicly. Don't start performing for unknown observer. Don't change your behavior to try to impress or deter whoever's watching. Just be yourself. If someone's observing you genuinely, they want to see real you anyway. If someone's observing you with ill intent, performing won't protect you better than authenticity will. Pay attention to your intuition about who might be the watcher. Often we know more than we consciously acknowledge. Your gut might already be whispering who this is. Your instincts might be signaling, even if your mind hasn't connected dots yet. Trust that subtle knowing. Follow those threads and watch for reveals. People who observe intensely often eventually make themselves known. Either they reach out directly or they show up more obviously. Or circumstances create natural opportunity for them to engage. The watching phase typically precedes action phase. Stay alert for transition from observation to interaction. This reflection invites you to consider, if you had to guess who's watching you closely, who would you suspect? Let me reveal what this intense attention might lead to. Some observations culminate in approach. The person who's been watching finally reaches out, makes their interest known, extends invitation, reveals why they've been paying attention, offers opportunity or confesses feelings or asks question they've been building toward. The observation converts into interaction. In the timeline between watching and approaching, there's often tipping point, moment when observer decides they have enough information, or when circumstances create opening, or when patience runs out, or when fear of never knowing exceeds fear of rejection. Then they make themselves known. It's probable you're approaching exactly that tipping point with whoever's watching you. Their observation might be reaching natural conclusion. Their questions might be getting answered through watching. Their courage might be building toward action. Their strategy might be completing its preparation phase. Contact might be imminent. Other observations remain perpetually distant. The watcher never approaches, never reveals themselves, content to observe without engaging, maybe because circumstances prevent it. Maybe because observation itself serves their need without interaction being necessary. Maybe because they lack courage to convert attention into action. You might be subject of exactly that kind of permanent observation without revelation. Someone who watches but never steps forward, who knows you thoroughly but remains unknown to you, who's content with one-way connection. It's less common, but it happens. Usually, when observer has significant barrier to approach, distance, relationship status, professional boundary, social difference, this reflection invites you to consider, would you want to know who's watching you, or would you prefer the mystery? Let me close by speaking to what this means about your impact. You're affecting people you don't realize you're affecting, creating impressions that last longer than interactions, showing up in ways that make people remember you, living in manner that makes you worthy of attention and study. That's not nothing. That's evidence of substance, of magnetic presence, of being someone who matters to more people than you know. May you trust your effect. May you stay authentic. May you recognize your influence. Someone is watching closely for specific reasons. You are being watched like a hawk. Someone is tracking you with intense focus from a very shocking person. Their identity would surprise you, and here is the reason why. They have specific motivation driving their observation, whether protective or strategic or nostalgic or romantic, whether benevolent or calculated. The attention is real, the focus is sustained, the observation is active, and your work is balanced awareness, not paranoia, but not naivety, trusting your instincts about who it might be, staying authentic in how you show up, watching for reveals, allowing observation to convert to interaction if that's where it's headed, protecting yourself if instincts signal concern, but remaining open if intuition suggests opportunity. Trust this. Trust that being watched can mean you're valued. Trust that observation often precedes opportunity. Trust that someone finding you worthy of close attention reflects something real about who you are. Trust that you can handle whatever comes from this attention revealing itself. Stay aware, stay authentic, stay discerning. Someone sees you completely. There's a reason.